Hello, and a warm welcome to our show, Love Athletics. In this program, we bring you the latest highlights from our sport with expert input from different continental areas. And we're delighted to have back as our guest today, Turkish journalist and commentator Şevket Erbay. Hello, Şevket. Lovely to see you, and a big thank you for joining us.
Hello, Anna, and Love Athletics crew. Lovely to see you again. Thank you.
So we're going to start this program with the European Cross Country Championships, which were held in Şevket's home city of Antalya. We will also speak about road running, Grand Slam track, and the Ultimate Championships, and of course, Athletes of the Year. So here we go with the most recent event, the Spar European Cross Country Championships held on 8 December. Let's start with the seniors. Among the men, Jakob Ingebrigtsen had been forced to miss the 2023 edition due to an Achilles injury, but was back in Antalya and aiming for his 7th Eurocross title, his 3rd as a senior after 4 golds in the under-20 race between 2016 and 2019. The Norwegian star was always at the head of the race, with Italy's Yeman Kripa also pushing the pace. At the start of the last lap, Ingebrigtsen and Kripa pulled ahead of Europea's Thierry Ndikoumwenayo, who had moved up towards the leading athletes, and Belgium's Isaac Kimeli, pulling away decisively by 8 seconds, with Kripa finishing second by 7 seconds over Ndikoumwenayo. Italy's captain thus took another individual medal after under 20 golds in 2014 and 2015, and his first medal since taking silver in 2019. Now, Şevket, Jakob Ingebrigtsen again demonstrated his talent and hunger for victory. It was really a great way to finish 2024.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I'm wondering how he's finding an appetite for end of the season crossing after such a tight year he passed. He repeated he loves so much on dirt running always, but prove once again that he's a cross country monster. He proved that. When I speak up the rivals like Yemane in mix zone or Jan Schrupp at the presser, almost every rival pre-accepted about his dominance. The athletes placing themselves after Jakob, not rivaling with him, not racing against him nearly. It's a psychological win, I think, just from the start. Again, in Antalya, he finished very strong, as you see. He showed how he won 7 races back-to-back in Eurocross because he missed 1 edition. Yeah. If we put aside the last year's edition, he won 7 races back-to-back since under 20 days. His strong physique also and stamina is very much fitting to cross running. And the course, like Antalya, because the technical one, added more chance to him to dominance. I saw the race. I mean, Yemane Berhan also left a good impression in Antalya. Yemane is a very much loved figure in Italian team, especially. I saw that live. He came to finish 8 seconds behind Jakob and claimed silver medal. I checked the statistics. His 11th European cross medal overall, this one, the Yemane's 12 European cross medal he had, including teams, of course. It's a really good statistic. Also, Thierry Ndikoumwenayo grabbed bronze medal for himself and carried Spain to the top of the team in seniors. Actually, Spain was not have a good championship in Antalya, but in the final race, they able to play their anthem in Dokuma Park. And just just about one thing related to Spain, actually, Anna, about their captain, Adel Mashal. Yeah. He's very accomplished athlete, as you know, everybody knows, and led the team here in Antalya. He's living in Istanbul with his wife, Emine Hatun Tuno. She's also the ex-European cross winner in juniors 10 years ago. Very surprised me so much in Adel, because I took him in a short conversation for the flash codes in the mix zone. I started to ask him question in English. He interrupted me and said in Turkish, if you want, I can answer in Turkish. Then he gave a brilliant statement in a local language. Yeah. In just 4 years, he almost excelled in English, Turkish as well. And I mean, it's really hard language to learn in Turkish, I know, but he almost excelled. Then I remembered he's a polyglot, Adel Mashal, because he has about 6 languages to speak: Spanish, Arabic, English, some French, Italian, and Turkish. He's really impressive character, isn't it?
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, no, he's an athlete I like very, very much.
Yeah, he's also ex-European champion indoor some 8 years ago.
Yeah. And Yeman Kripa, it was really good for him to get this medal, because the men's senior race is now held on a course which is less than 8 kilometers. And of course, Yeman has moved on to the half marathon and marathon. So for him to still be very competitive on
shorter ones,
which are shorter than the ones on which he is now comfortable, that was really good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So let's look now at the women's race. And French woman Marion Trappe had attempted a solitary move, dashing ahead of the group and amassing a lead of up to 9 seconds. But she was caught halfway through the race and finished out of the medals, but still an honorable 8th. Italy's double European track medalist, gold medalist, Nadia Battocletti, was also always in the chasing group behind Trappe, as were the other favorites, Germany's Constanze Klosterhalfen and home star Yasmin Can, with an unprecedented quadruple victory in the event. Can also faded at the start of the last lap, as Battocletti increased her lead over Klosterhalfen, taking off alone and closing 9 seconds ahead of the German, with Can another 7 seconds behind. And Battocletti came therefore the first women to win golds at the under 20, under 23 and senior races, a feat which only one athlete had achieved among the men, her compatriot Andrea Lalli. But of course, Jakob Ingebrigtsen chose to go straight from under 20 races, where he had won 4, to his first senior title in 2021, when he was aged 21 and therefore would have been eligible to compete in under 23 races. As well as her 5th overall Eurocross win, the double, after, as we saw, double titles in the under 20 and under 23 races, Nadia Battocletti also led the Italian women team to a historic team gold ahead of Germany and Belgium. Now, Italy had never made the podium in this race, but the athletes have been competing together since they were very young, so it was especially great for them to end this dry spell altogether. And I really loved the way how on the podium, Nadia indicated that the trophy and olive sapling awarded to each individual and team winner should go to the teammates at her side rather than to her. Now, Nadia's quest may have been made a little easier by the late withdrawal of Norway's Caroline Berkel Grovdal due to a recent illness. The 3-time reigning champion had soundly defeated the Italian at last year's Eurocross. But Battocletti last June defeated the Norwegian on track at the European 5,000 meters, and she has since moved into a new dimension in 2024. And there was some competition for the Olympic 10,000 meter silver medalist, including two athletes who had both excelled in the Eurocross, as we saw, quadruple winner Yasmin Can and multi-medalist Constance Klosterhalfen, who were both making comebacks to top form after injuries and illnesses in 23, 24, and earlier. Now, Şevket, I was personally very happy with that podium. All three athletes deserved their success.
Well, indeed, yes. I was preferred to battle between Nadia and Carolina for an unforgettable race, but it did not happen due to late withdrawal of defending champion. But Nadia is a superbly talented athlete. I mentioned her maybe 100 times in the last 5 years, including this show previously. She controlled the race beautifully and cracked the group in the very last lap and finished to become first Italian woman to take Eurocross title in seniors. Actually, of course, she has a protagonist for some other firsts, as you mentioned. I spoke with her after the race and recalled her father's 98 team victory in Ferrara. And she replied, yes, we did the same today here as a team. So fun, she said. It's a very lovely moment for me. Coming to Constanze and Yasemin, both had very respectable races against a good quality field. Both back to the podium after some turbulent years and precurs a comeback. Yasemin had a hard injury and some private life problems in 2003 and lost in her both competitive race in last year, Olympic year, even in the Turkish league, where she never lost before. But come back to Kenya and train and come back again to Antalya. It was a devastating loss, the last year's Turkish league loss for her. But in 5 months, she made a comeback and looking enormously happy with her bronze. She said, I'm back to track. We'll see what happened next year. Hope good things will come, she said after the race. It's really looking good for Yasemin Can in the future.
Yeah, it was good because when you saw both Constanze and Yasemin crossing the finish line, they both had huge smiles. So it was great to see them back and happy.
Both overjoyed in the finish line. Yeah, exactly.
Now, earlier in the day, Italy had also triumphed in the mixed relay with Sebastiano Parolini, Marta Zenoni, Sintaya Ovisa, and Pietro Arese, regaining the title, which Italy had first won on home soil in 2022, defeating defending champions France and Great Britain in a thrilling sprint finish where all three teams were given the same final time. Now, highlights from other races included in the under 20 women's race, a second consecutive title for Great Britain's 18-year-old Ines Fitzgerald, who became the fourth under 20 woman to achieve this feat, leading her country to their unbelievable 18th team gold out of 20 editions of this event. Crazy. In the under 20 men's race, as expected, the Netherlands' young prodigy, European Athletics 2024 rising star Niels Larosse, secured gold, avenging his second place finish last year and leading his team to silver, a first ever podium for the Netherlands in this race. Among the under 23 women, Great Britain's US-based Phoebe Anderson took an unexpected win in a strong finish in the last 500 meters, upsetting Spain's 2022 under 20 champion Maria Forero and 2023 silver Finland's Ilona Mononen to lead Great Britain and the Northern Ireland team to gold, ahead of a brilliant silver for hosts Turkey and bronze for Germany. So, Şevket, tell us more about the Turkish team and their brilliant under 23 silver.
I mean, I expected actually 3 medals from Turkish team in Antalya because the team traditionally is a good country. Turkey is one of the top 5 countries in the championship history, but they got 2, not too bad. The Turkish team. I'm not expected Turkish under 23 women team was being on the podium, but under 20 men's team would be there. But the ladies done it. Pelin Su Şahin had crucial step for silver winning Turkish team because she got 8th place individually. Şahin was also on the Eurocross podium 2 years ago with under 20 team. Quite experienced, we say it. Before 1 month before, Turkish team have Balkan Championship in the same age group with Urkuş Işık also gets gold medal there in the Balkan Championship. Kampulung Moldovensk in Romania. Urkuş was on the team also. She is also experienced runner. And silver medalist, Balkan silver medalist Merve Karakaya. With all these names, when we look to the team, it's really good mix actually. It's a good mixture of different region girls from the country, beat Germans by 2 points, I think. 2 points, I think. Beat the Germans and take the silver. It's a good achievement for the under 23 team.
Definitely. Now, in the under 23 men, Great Britain's Will Barnicoat was aiming to repeat his 2023 gold, and he achieved this goal in another exciting sprint finish, taking his 2nd consecutive win, this time ahead of Ireland's Nicholas Griggs, who had tripped and fallen at the start, but clawed his way back to the leading group. And Great Britain also took the men's under 23 title ahead of France and Denmark. Now, Şevket, let's speak a little bit more about the younger athletes. Great Britain confirmed their supremacy, superpower really among the under 20 and 23s, but Norway also shone with 2 bronze medals in the under 20 races and gold in the men's under 20.
Yeah, Great Britain, as you know, is a leading country for cross country always, not today. They proved of that once again. 6 gold medals, top of the podium. I checked the results. Since 2003, they lost only 2 times top of the standings at the Eurocross. Once to Turkey, 2006, other one to Norway, 2018, 2016 and 18. Only 2 times in the last 22 years. Always they are going to top. Will Barnicoat, I can mention him. Will Barnicoat extend his European cross-country collection to 8 medals in 4 years, collecting all individual and team medals, team gold medals. Even he doesn't know about it. I remembered the statistic to him. GB team secured 6 medals in the team events, including mixed relays, only ousted men under 20 team podium. The rest of the under 20 men, all the team podiums include the GB. This is showing how they had a deep squad. And we didn't mention yet Nils Laros. Maybe we can a little bit talk about it, talk about him. Final month of his juniors, he took eluded European cross-country gold in the junior race. Last year he didn't manage to win it, but this time beat Britain George Coty and crowned as a European champion. Is a very last month of his junior days. Now he has double under 20, double under 18 track gold, and 1 cross country under 20 gold medal in European level. And of course, 6th place in Olympics with European under-20 record. It's a quite huge achievement for upcoming Netherlander.
Yes, it was tight in Antalya, but he took the victory in the end. No, that was great. So finally, to conclude our overview of the Eurocross 2024, let's take a look at the medal table. So as we said, Great Britain dominated the medals, especially with their under 20 and under 23 athletes, 6 golds and 12 medals in total. Second was Italy with 3 golds, Battocletti, the women's team and the relay, and 5 medals. Then Norway with, of course, Ingebrigtsen and the under 20 men. Spain, 1 gold, 1 silver, and 1 bronze. Netherlands, 1 gold and 1 silver, thanks to the contribution of Niels Laros. France, perhaps a little disappointed, 3 silver, 1 bronze for a total of 4, and then 1 silver each for Belgium, Germany, and Turkey, and Ireland. And finally, Denmark with 2 bronze, which is very good, and Finland with Monones's bronze. 5 countries won gold, and 12 countries won at least 1 medal. So really interesting European cross-country championships. Now, 1 day before that, the first African leg of the World Cross Tour took place in Eldoret, 7th of December, the great Chepside cross country. Among the women, the race was dominated by Uganda's 17-year-old Lois Chepkwemoi, the world under 20 steeplechase silver medalist, who won by almost 1 minute 30 total dominance. Among the men, it was a much tighter affair. The winner was Kenya's Samuel Chebole Masai, a 5th place finisher at the World Cross last March, who outran his nearest competitor by 9 seconds. So let's move on now to road races. The last major marathon of 2024 took place on the 1st of December, the Valencia Trinidad Alfonso Marathon. It saw victories by Sebastian Sawe and Ethiopia's Megertu Alemo. Now, as we remember, disastrous floods had hit the southern suburbs of the city just 3 days after the successful staging of the half marathon at the end of October, killing over 200 people. Organizers had debated for several weeks and finally confirmed the staging of the marathon, donating to relief efforts €3 for every runner who crossed the finish line, as well as all the revenues from their sponsors. In a very strong field among the men, there were 3 athletes boasting PBs below 2 hours 03. Kenenisa Bekele, 2 hour 0141, Sisai Lemma, 2:01:48, and Birhanu Legesse, 2:02:48. However, the winner was a debutant at the distance, Sebastian Sawe, who won in 2:02:05, the 2024 world lead. Ethiopia's Dere Segeleta in 2 hours 02:38, Kenya's Daniel Mateiko, 2:04:24, completed an excellent podium. But the whole men's race was really exceptional. The top 10 finishers all breaking 2 hours 05, and the top 18 finishers all finishing below 2 hours 07. And among the latter was Australia's Andrew Buchanan, who improved the Oceania record to 2:06:22, taking over 1 minute off the previous continental best. In the women's race, Victory went to Ethiopia's Megertu Alemu in 2 hours 16:49, over 1 minute ahead of her competitors, Uganda's Stella Chesang to 18:26 and compatriot Tiruye Besfin to 18:35. So Şevket, what impressed you the most at the Valencia Marathon 2024?
Yeah, actually, I didn't watch the race, unfortunately, today because I have another job in very same day. But later I checked the results and some highlights. But I can say several things about Valencia race because I like the race so much. First, a big booster for the city after devastating floods. It's very important. Valencia is a good city for athletics and the community because they labeled the city with the Ciudad del Running because more than 50 races in every year they held the Valencia city. Actually, I put this marathon to World Marathon Major expansion personally instead of Sydney, but I don't know why Valencia include the World Marathon Major. I commentated last year the race. I know very well the Valencia, and recent years' progression in the race is just crazy.
Yeah,
it turns one of the greatest road races in the world in the calendar right now. I hope maybe they will add it to World Marathon Majors calendar, maybe in the future, in the near future.
I'm not sure if they asked it to be part of the Marathon Majors.
Probably not. Yeah, probably not.
Exactly. What they want to do is they want to have all the world records in the half and in the marathon for men and women. That's their objective. So I'm not sure if they postulated to be part of the Marathon Majors, but if they do, they would definitely have to be admitted because they're absolutely brilliant. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So thank you, Şevket. Let's move now to take a quick look at indoor meets. Now, the first indoor track competitions are taking place, and there was a highly anticipated one on the 7th of December, the Sharon Collier Danville season opener in Boston, which, as we know, is a very fast track. Now, Paul Merka had warned us about this event in our last show, saying that US collegiate athletes taking advantage of their great shape after the NCAA cross championships were going to race in Boston to try and earn early qualifying marks for the US trials for the World Indoors next year. And the 5,000 races were indeed great, and they were won by the NCAA cross champions. Graham Blanks among the men in an excellent 12:59.89, and Doris Lemongole in 14:52.57, a collegiate record. There were also excellent time in the men's 3,000 meters, won by Ethan Strand in 7:30.15, the fastest time ever by a US athlete, closely followed by Parker Wolf in 7:30.23. And there were also great performances by under 23 and under 18 athletes, as we will see later. Now, this is also the time of the year in which there's all sorts of things happening because, of course, there's outdoor meets taking part in the Southern Hemisphere. And the most outstanding results came from the Australian All-School Championships held on 6 to 8 December. On 7 December, sprint prodigy Gout, who is still 16 as he turns 17 at the end of this month, ran a blistering 20:04 to improve the Oceania 200 meters record, not for under 18s, not for under 20s, but the senior record. improving the mark set by compatriot Peter Norman when he had come third in the legendary 200 meters Olympic final in Mexico City in 1968. A day earlier, Gaut had run 10:17 in the 100 meters, which would make him number 6 in the under 18 all-time lists. World Athletics doesn't yet have that mark, but Tila Stopaya does, and they're totally reliable. So, Şevket, I know you're an attentive follower of underage athletics. What do you think of Gaut?
Yeah, the athletics followers are aware of him, actually. Last year's Queensland School Championships, and where he arrived at just 1 year, is massive. Simply massive. He's 20:04 in 200 meters. His immediately iconic performance, I'm sure it will be a milestone for junior athletics on all time for many years. For Australia, my dearly loving country, like Australia, for Australia, he's a crazy diamond, because we are just 8 years away from Brisbane Games. He's looking will go in a sprint double at home games, a real home games, because he's born and bred in the same state in Queensland. When we looked to his action on track, he has very much similarity with Usain Bolt, but look in his upgraded version. His acceleration and finishing phase speed is simply unique. What he will be done, we will see together. But I'm so curious about him because he's an Aussie.
I knew you were the right person to speak about Gaut because not only you closely follow under 18 and under 20s, but you're also a big fan of Australia. So thank you.
One addition, I think his name wrong spelled because his father explained the Australian media is a spelling error when he came from Egypt to direct to Australia. Actually, his name in Arabic language written is Guot. U earlier U than O. Guot, but wrongly spelled in Egypt goat and stay there. And angry, the father angry with this and trying to fix it, but of course we using it international and official one. That's why we are saying it goat.
Yes, probably difficult to change the name now. Huh?
Yeah.
His son has become too famous to change it. Thank you, Şevket. So that concludes our review of recent events on all surfaces. And let's look now at the new competitions slated to begin next year and in 2026, focusing on Grand Slam track and the Ultimate Championships. Now, I'd already discussed these events with our guests in the last two shows, so you know what I think, Paul Merka and Mutwiri. But I'd like to ask Şevket, what is your take on GST?
Good initiative first, but absent. I support the new series in principle, always. Their signed athletes list is really impressive. If you have Sydney McLaughlin, we easily mention about her, greatest of all time, easily. You guaranteed the attention if you have a Sydney McLaughlin, for sure. Plus, GS track, I think their list has Josh Kerr, Fred Curley, Marilady Paulino, Gabby Thomas, Mary Mora, really good field. No worries. But what is missing, the rest of the events. It's completely about racing, but athletics that I love have some other elements. I didn't like such kind of more focus on one part of thing. That's why my most favorite events, individual event, decathlon and heptathlon. loving all forms of athletics in one competition, in one field of play, with a harmonious mixture, of course. In that point of view, Grand Slam track is so much focus on star attention, but could be cause a damage to non-running events. I'm fearing. But in our overall, it's a good project. We will see what will happen.
And what do you think of the Ultimate Championships?
Ultimate Championships, again, idea is good, but similar to previous Grand Prix final. In your working days, a Grand Prix final is maybe 20 years long held, but individual one. Grand Prix final also individual, but World Cup is a team competition in the past. Programming is good. Every events include stars out there, big money at stake. That's important for the professionality, of course. But there is a problem for orientation, in my opinion. How we will call the ultimate champions? An ultimate title better than the world, or is still just a Grand Prix winning performance? In practice, it can be more precious than the world's, because you've beat the very selective field. I mean, best of the bests, you beat them. But on the other hand, you just competed against 5 or 6 nations, include field. So what's the diversity? In my point of view, the championships problem about ultimate term, it's a little bit complex. If they cleared the orientation in the championships levels, championship level and stuffs, the event is looking good in the beginning.
My biggest problem is that they've also cut practically all the field events. They cut the 3,000 meters steeplechase, that's not included. That's the only, okay, the 10,000 as well, but you can kind of understand that. Outside of World Championships and Olympic Games, it's difficult. But 3,000 meter steeplechase is not included. And that was a fantastic event, especially among the women this year. In the field events, among the jumps, they have almost everything. They have only the women's triple jump, and honestly, it was a weak event. Among the field events, they have practically nothing. They have the javelin, which was extremely weak among the women. It was really, really not a top-level event. But of course, it's the broadcaster is Tata Communications, which is from India. And of course, one of the stars among the men is Neeraj Chopra. Among the men, they have the men's hammer. They don't have shot put and discus, which were by far the best field events. And shot put had an absolutely fabulous level, very high top marks. Even the number 50 mark is exceptional. So I really don't appreciate the fact that World Athletics, who is supposed to be the guardian of the sport, is cutting some really, really good events. If you want to keep, you say, okay, we're only keeping the events with the best results, great. Then I'm sorry, you don't include the women's javelin. You don't even include the women's 800 because it wasn't that good. The men's 800 had a fantastic surge this year, but not the women. So I have a big problem with the disciplines which they announced on 22 November. And now Şevket. So as we saw, World Athletics is cutting most field events from the Ultimate Championships, but they're apparently considering creating a World Treadmill Championships. So what do you think of this idea?
Very much derived from World Ergo Championships in rowing. As a great rowing fan, I do watching rowing, ergo rowing, not so. But somebody wants to run and compete against others in indoor. it's an athletics contest, yes. But I'm not sure it's going to be a big activity, big athletics activity. I'm not sure because, in fact, athletics is an outdoor sport. That's why treadmill is not fitting directly to athletics. CrossFit maybe, but it can be there as a part of. I'm not so big fan of it.
I ran on a treadmill once and I was so bored. I said, never again. Now, Şevket, World Athletics Council has also decided to change the distances for the race walking events from 2026, with senior events 20K to become a half marathon distance and the 35K to now be run over the marathon distance. So what do you think of these changes?
Anna, that's simply bullshit. Once again, World Athletics Council makes responsible to do something crazy and doing it. I was strongly against in the mixed marathon race, in the race walking, but they put in the Olympic program immediately, last event. Nobody cares it. Now they're trying to change measurement. They just reduced 50K to 35 in 5 years ago.
Exactly.
We change. How now they saw it doesn't make sense in the reducing. Why change again? We don't know yet. Athletics is a not scratch pad for anybody. Marketing guys interference on technical issues really drives me mad. I'm just saying it.
Yeah, I also think it shows a kind of lack of respect for race walkers. As you said, only 5 years ago, they decided to scratch the 50K, which had a huge tradition, and go to 35. Then, yes, they realize it doesn't make too much sense. The races are quite similar, 20 and 35. Then they introduced the mixed relay at the Olympics, but they're not having at the World Championships. It's like they don't know what they're doing. They're in the dark and trying to find a solution, but I don't think it shows a lot of respect for race walkers.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. It's a very quick decision. For only 3 or 4 years, every invented events lasted only 3 or 4 years, then change again.
Yeah.
Crazy.
We'll see. So it's time now to go back to the global overview of our sport and check all the best marks since the last show. So there were mainly, of course, from Valencia Marathon, but also, as we saw, from the Boston indoors. Ethan Strand, that's the fourth best mark of the year, 7:30:15, and the best ever for a US athlete, as we saw. Parker Wolf, 7:30:23. Behind him, Yassin Abdallah of Sudan, 7:34:17, beating the national record. Over the 5,000 meters, Graham Blanks with 12:59:89, also a really good performance. Now that race has had some fantastic performances this year, but Blanks is worth 1,263 points, which is a very high score. Then, of course, we have the marathon, and there's a very long list of athletes from Valencia, with Sebastian Kimarosawe, Derese Geleta, a little further behind Daniel Matejko, Alphonse Felix Simbu of Tanzania. And here, this is very interesting, Tadesse Abraham of Switzerland, 42 years old, improves the national record, and he's retiring soon. So that was a very great performance on his part, 2:04:40. Behind him, again, another Ethiopian, Chimdesa Debele, Israel's Maro Teferi, Germany's Samuel Fithusibahu, and Ethiopia's Sisai Lemma only a little further behind maybe than expected, but still a very respectable 2:04.59. In Fukuoka, Japan's Yuha Yoshida 2:05.16. Then more marks from Valencia, Virhano Legesse, Edward Cesarek, and Italy's Johannes Chiappinelli. Finally, Richard Ringer of Germany 2:05.46. So really, as we have said already, a fabulous marathon in Valencia. Among the women, marks are only from the Valencia Marathon. Megertu Alemo with her 2:16.49, and podium placers Stella Chesang and Tiruye Mesfin. But also Evelyn Chirchir, 2:20.33. She's just below our cut of 1,230 points with 1,228. So let's look now at under 20 and under 18 athletes. Now for these categories, we need to look back almost 2 months because we have not included underage marks in our reviews lately, and there were some really great performances since mid-October. So starting with the under 20s, we start, of course, with the sprints with Gout, his 20:04 Oceania senior record, number 6, equals 6 on the under 20 all-time list, and number 2 in the under 18 all-time lists. Over the 1,000 meters in short track in Boston, Shamiso Sikaneta of Canada with 2:21.79 moves to number 14 in the under 20 all-time short track lists. Over the 3,000 meters, always in Boston, Brian Mwange Musau through 13 minutes 11:29 moves to number 3 on the under 20 all-time short track lists. Behind him, a very, very good race, Leo Young with 13:37.15 and Lex Young with 13:57.17 moved to number 12 and 13 in the under 20 all-time short track lists. Then Joash Ruto moves to number 14 with 13:40.73. Christian Deval, 13:41.17, moves to number 15. And Jojo Jordan, 13:44.52, moves to number 16. So really a fabulous race in Boston. Over 10-kilometer road races in Lille at the Urban Trail, Charles Rotich of Kenya in 27:16 moves to number 7 in the under 20 all-time lists. Behind him, Ayeza Amelu of Ethiopia. Charles Rotich 27:18. Ayensa Alemo 27:34 moves to number equal 12, and Abel Bekele 27:37 moves to, that's wrong, that's obviously not number 7, so he's lower on the under 20 all-time lists. Among the women, there were less outstanding marks, but still some very good performances. Over the mile indoor in Boston, 4:32.92 for the USA's Ali Ince moves to number 10 on the under 20 all-time lists. 10 kilometers road race also at the Urban Trail in Lille on 16 November. Ethiopia's Asmarech Ayanli, 30:23. Now, she's number 1 on the under 20 all-time list, but World Athletics does not recognize a world record for this distance. And behind her, Lem and Brett with 31.16 moves to number 10 on the all-time under 20 lists. Among the under 18, there were also some very interesting marks. As we saw, Gout 10.17 moves to number 6 in the under 18 all-time list. Over 200, we already mentioned, number 2 in the under 20. Not 2 in the under 18 all-time lists, and number 6 equal in the under 20 lists. He had already run on 3rd of November in Brisbane 20.29, which was then number 4 on the under 18 all-time lists. So over 5,000 in Boston. Brian Mwange Musau, he's born in 2006. He turns 18 at the end of December, so he's not really an under 18 athlete. And in Pretoria, over 400-meter hurdles on 18 of September, but it only appeared recently in the World Athletics lists. Lesiba Dikgale, 50.42 over the 400 hurdles, the 84 centimeters, and moves to number 18, so just a little below our cutoff, which is normally top 15. In the race walk, Australian athletes are always very good at this event, and John Ronan with 20.0029 moves to number 16 in the under 18 all-time lists over 5,000 meters race walk. Among the women, there were no top 15 of all-time performances in the last 2 months. So Şevket, overall, really interesting part of the season with great performances on the road, but also indoors and outdoors.
Great summary from you. You mentioned all the important results, but especially in the marathon, we have 28 sub 205 running this year, and also 35 sub 220 in women's side. We saw both women records have followed this year, mixed and women only, especially Ruth Pengetic is a crazy. It was a turning point. The 2024 season is a turning point for women's marathon, I think.
Definitely. Now, let's talk very, very briefly about Ruth Pengetic, because she is the only athlete to have 3 performances in the top 15 of all time. Now, she obviously likes running in Chicago, but she also loves running in Istanbul.
Exactly. Actually, she is present to the world from Istanbul and the Turkish road racing calendar, because she also gets 2 winning title in Tarsus half marathon. Is a southern part of Turkey near Mersin. 2-time Tarsus, 4-time Istanbul, including a half marathon world record. She broke in Istanbul. She likes Istanbul so much. Also, I know Ruth very closely, but she's so straight-minded to broken world record for years. I know it from very close distance. She knows one day she will break world record. She knows it, and only focus on to the broken world record especially after disappeared performance in Tokyo Olympics. As you know, she went there as a hot favorite but didn't get good result, then ousted from the Olympic team for Paris. and only focus on her much loved in Chicago course. And I was on the commentary booth in that race. I commented the race from start to end in Chicago Marathon this year in Eurosport Turkey. Crazy. I saw in the first K 15:05 split. First split, it's unbelievable. I predict will be coming something big end of the race.
Yeah, she didn't only break it, she destroyed it.
Exactly.
And she's a really, I mean, I hadn't spoken to her before. I spoke with her at the awards. She's a really interesting lady. I like her a lot. Can Korkmazoglu, of course, have spoken very highly of her to me, but yeah, it was great to meet her. She's brilliant.
Exactly.
So let's look now at athletes of the year, because it's, of course, it's the time when everyone wants to determine who are the best athletes. World Athletics held its awards on the 1st of December. Finalists had been announced a month before, on the 4th of November, in 3 categories: track, field, and out-of-stadium events. The finalists among the men for track, Letsile Tebogo and Jakob Ingebrigtsen; for field, Miltiadis Tedoglu and Monto Duplantis; and for out-of-stadium events, race walker Daniel Pintado and Tamirat Tola. Among the women, track nominees Julian Alfred and Sydney McLaughlin-Levroni; field events Yaroslava Mahuchik and Nafi Thiam; and for out-of-stadium events, Ruth Chepengetich and Sifan Hassan. The winners in each category were announced in Monaco. They were all Olympic champions. Starting with the men's track, the winner was Botswana's 200-meter Olympic champion, Letsile Tebogo, chosen over Jakob Ingebrigtsen. In the men fields event, now that would have been difficult to do otherwise. The unique Mondo Duplantis, who won every possible title he could this year, including the 100-meter race to settle it all against Karsten Warholm, and set 3 world records, won over Miltiadis Tedoglu. The men's out of stadium events, Olympic champion Tamirat Tola was chosen over race walker Daniel Pintado. Among the women, winners were also all Olympic champions. Women's track, the winner was world record holder Sydney McLaughlin-Levroni, who prevailed over St. Lucia sprinter Julian Alfred. In the women's field events, Yaroslava Mahuchik was chosen over combined eventer Nafi Thiam. Now, Nafi had won a fabulous 3rd Olympic title in a row. Out of stadium events, Olympic marathon champion Sifan Hassan was preferred over world record holder Ruth Chepengetich. And in the new formula for 2024, Fanvote decided the overall athletes of the year, who were also announced on the 1st of December, and they were Letsile Tebogo and Sifan Hassan. World Athletics also chose its rising stars. Among the men, it was Italy's Mattia Furlani, who set the world under 20 record in the long jump and medaled at every major senior event this year. And among the women, it was Ethiopia's steeplechaser Sembo Almayo, the world under 20 champion, who also shone among senior athletes this year. So, Şevket, what do you think of the winners and of the process of the formula?
First, nice to see a deciding overall winner instead of several winners. Unless fan favorite, fan votes or not, it should be We can be one overall winner at end of the season. In my side, I pick up Ruth Çepengetic as Women Athlete of the Year due to obvious reason. Slightly more important than Olympic gold, what Sifan Hassan did.
Yeah.
Maybe not precious as Olympic gold, but extremely important thing Ruth Çepengetic did this year.
Yeah.
And we must choose most unique achievers, not biggest hit list there in some aspect for these awards. We must choose the unique achievers in the end. In the men's side, I agree to Letsile Tebogo. He was a story maker this year. And my personal hero of the season award is going to Nafi Thiam, of course. I can put the note here. Nafi also deserved something.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. I mean, among them, as I say, among the women, it was a little bit tricky to decide. Among the men, I really love Letsile. He's a fantastic athlete. He's a great person. But what does Mondo Duplantis have to do to win? 3 world records. He won absolutely everything. I don't know. Somehow he's a bit jinxed, where was it? A year or 2 ago, where the European athletics, they gave a tie between him and Jakob. When Jakob had lost one of the major races. If I were Mondo, I would honestly be maybe a little bit upset.
Yeah, but the probably it's resulted with the African votes because the fans decided to overall winner.
Of course, why. And the whole of Africa.
Africans support Letsile. But it's fair, in my opinion. It's fair.
No, it was. Yes, it was. I mean, he's a deserving athlete in any case. Just what did Mondo have to do to win it? That's a little bit weird in my mind. So, thank you, Şevket. Now, after the celebration, unfortunately, there's more sad news as several protagonists of the world of athletics have left us. And we will speak here about 2 exceptional athletes who were Olympic champions and world record holders. On the 10th of November, U.S. shot putter Dallas Long passed away aged 84 while in hospice care, apparently from complications of Parkinson's disease. Long had excelled in his event between 1959 and 1964. He took Olympic gold in 1964. He had already taken bronze in 1960 behind teammates Bill Nieder and Parry O'Brien. He was Pan Am Games silver medalist already in 1959. He took AAU championships gold in 1961 and was a double NCAA champion in 1960 and 1962. Sorry, triple. Long first equaled the world record with 19 meters 25 in March 1959, then improved it a total of 10 times, with 6 of those marks ratified by the IAAF up to 20 meters 68 in July 1964. After retiring from competition, Long became a dentist and a physician specializing in emergency medicine. Rest in peace, Dallas Long. On the 1st of December, German discus thrower Ilke Wiluda, the 1996 Olympic champion, passed away aged 1955. A hugely talented athlete, as an under-20 athlete, Wiluda had dominated her event like no other athlete in any discipline before or after her. Her senior career was plagued by injuries, but she still amassed an impressive honors list. So she was gold, as we saw at the Olympic Games in the discus in '96. She had been, then 4 years later, she was seventh. Now, bizarrely, she never won the World Championships. She was fourth in 1987 and silver medalist in 91 and 95. She did take 2 golds in the World Cup, which was then a very important competition in 1989 and 1994, as well as a silver in 92. In the World Under-20s, she had 2 golds in 1986 and 1988. European Championships, 2 golds in 1990 and 94, as well as a 6th place in 1998. And at the European Under-20 Championships at the start of her career, she had showed her versatility, taking gold in the discus in 1985 and 1987, as well as silver in the shot put in 1985 and gold in 1987. She set 12 World Under-20 records in the discus, improving it from 65.86 in 1986, when she was still under 18, to 74 meters 40 in 1988. She is still number 3 in the senior all-time list. She also set 2 World Under-20 records in the shot put, with 20 meters 11 and 20:23. Now, her stats are absolutely amazing because she holds not only the under-20 record, she still has it, but she has 21, all the 21 top under-20 marks of our all-time. So she was totally dominant. She still holds the under-18 world best in the discus with 65.86, which is over 2 meters longer than the second athlete, Astrid Kumbernuss, and she has the 5 top under-18 marks of all time. So Wiluda retired after countless operations in June 2001, and in 2010, she had to have her right leg amputated following sepsis, and then competed as a para-athlete, taking part in the Paralympics in London, where she reached the finals in both shot put and discus. And in 2014, at the IPC European Championships, she won bronze in the F57 discus and silver in the shot put. After ending her sporting career, Wiluda became a physiotherapist. She later studied medicine and worked as an anesthesiologist. Rest in peace, Ilke Wiluda. Now, Şevket, what a hugely talented athlete she was.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Remember her Atlanta victory and put her name on my notebook on that day. Put a picture cutting from the newspaper. Really, she was an example of raw power throwers from Germany in that time. Rest in peace for both throwing legends.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Şevket. So let's look now at upcoming events as we reach the end of our show. So season is really drawing to a close. On the 15th of December, we have marathons in Chonburi, Thailand, and in Taipei City. On the 22nd of December, Cross Internacional de Amurrio in Spain. That's a world cross-country tour silver. On the 31st of December, of course, there are many St. Sylvester races around the world. One of the most famous is the San Silvestre Vallecana road race in Madrid. Then the season starts again very quickly after New Year. On the 5th of January, World Cross Country Tour gold in El Goibar in Spain. And the next day, on the 6th of January, also a World Cross Country Tour gold, Campaccio International Cross in San Giorgio sul Legnano. On the 19th of January, a silver leg of the WCCT in Cáceres. 21st of January, the World Indoor Tour starts in Astana, Kazakhstan. 26th of January, Cross Cup in Hanot, Belgium, Cross Country Tour gold. On the 29th of January, a new leg of the World Indoor Tour with the Belgrade Indoor Meeting. On the 2nd of February, New Balance Indoor Grand Prix in Boston. On the 2nd of February, the ECC Cross Country in Albufeira. 4th of February, Czech Indoor Gala, another leg of the indoor tour in Ostrava. 7th of February, there's a series of 3 indoor tours, Karlsruhe on the 7th of February, Millrose Games on the 8th of February. Also on that day, Kenyan Cross Country Championships in Nairobi, and the following day, Nordic Indoor Championships in Espoo in Finland. 13th of February, the strongest, World Indoor Tour meet in last year is taking place again, Liévin in France. On the 15th, the Balkan Indoor Championships in Belgrade. So lots, and the year practically doesn't stop. There's a couple of weeks where it slows down a little bit, and then in January, it all starts again very quickly. So we're now at the end of our program, and it was great having Şevket with us on the show.
No worries, my pleasure. By the way, I wishing all athletics fans a Happy New Year and Merry Christmas from today. Ciao.
Thank you very much, Şevket. Hope you have a wonderful end to 2024 and a great start of next year. So thank you, Şevket. Thank you all for watching. I also add my best wishes to Şevket, even though we're hoping to record the last show around the 20th of December. So see you soon on Love Athletics to look together at the highlights, comments, and analysis of what's been happening in our sport over the past fortnight. And don't forget to check out Şevket's site, Athletics Podium, because there's always some really interesting nuggets over there. So
thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Şevket.
Thank you.